How will Hull City stay up this season? It's going to be a very interesting season for the Tigers, with of course the fee restriction that's currently going on. We've got an update on the appeal process for Hull City, and we'll have a little look at maybe some players that Hull City could actually sign if they want to turn out to have a bit of a positive season. Well, hello then, welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today we're going through all the news surrounding Hull City, including the appeal process, which is firmly underway. But before that, let's dive into some transfer news. So there has been a bit of transfer news. Outgoing wise, Rocco Coyle, of course, younger brother of Louis Coyle, Hull City's captain. Well, he's gone out on loan. He's going to spend the rest of the season out on loan at Boston United. Of course, Hull City have sent a various collection of players to Boston United over the years, and Rocco Coyle becomes the new one that goes out there on loan. It seems like Boston United are quite up for it, posting quite a few photos of him already in pre-season training camp, so it seems like Rocco Coyle will get the extended period of time that he probably needs in senior men's football, where he obviously couldn't be handed that at Hull City under the current circumstances, and see what there is for the future for Rocco. Of course, we'll see what happens. I'll keep us there on how he progresses over at Boston United. But as I said before, seems like a loan deal would be the best idea for him, and it has happened. But with an update on Ollie McBurney, so Baz Cooper has reported that Ollie McBurney deal is still ongoing, but a reporter coming out through the sort of Las Palmas connection has said that they're still, apparently Las Palmas are still trying to negotiate to re-sign him. Of course, Ollie McBurney is a free transfer, so Hull City can sign him at the moment completely free transfer, just have to pay his wages. But Las Palmas, of course, the team that he just recently left, is apparently trying to re-sign him. This is a little quote coming from somebody over at Las Palmas. Ollie is a footballer who has very significant offers. We can't compete with what they're offering, but we're trying to reach an agreement. It's very complicated. So it seems like Ollie McBurney is still trying to keep his options open to see where he will end up landing for this upcoming season and possibly a couple of seasons beyond it. Let's, before we go into sort of the future of Hull City, so to speak, Semi Ajayi, I think it's his first day in training today, as some photos coming out through Hull City's social media of Semi Ajayi in training. Seem like he's enjoying things, so that's all good stuff there. And then, of course, I presume Casey Palmer would be back. If not, he's already back already, but certainly Casey Palmer would be ready to return after having a bit of an extended summer due to playing for, obviously, Jamaican's international side over this summer period. So let's talk about how Hull City might be able to stay up this season. So of course we know that there is a fee restriction. We've dodged 2 embargoes already. We're under a 3 transfer fee restriction, which means we cannot sign anyone from another club. So we can't say go to Brentford and sign Keane Lewis-Potter for a transfer fee. We can't do that. I mean, probably won't be able to anyway. But also we can't loan players that have fees attached to them at the moment. So we can't pay any money to any clubs. We can only sign free transfers, so ones that have no clubs, and also loan deals that have no fees attached to them, or in special case where they can put the fees later on, as in the Friggin deal, which we'll see how that develops. Of course, we haven't had any fresh news on that one since his reported landing in East Yorkshire. So Hull Live, Baz Cooper put out an article, James Smiles put out an article from sort of detailing what Hull City's landscape is with this sort of appeal process and where they currently stand at the moment, because they have actually lodged the full appeal process for the 3 transfer fee restrictions. This is what he had to say. Hull City have formally lodged their appeal with the English Football League against the punishment of a free transfer window fee restriction. Having compiled their evidence, lawyers have officially submitted the appeal to the EFL, with sources indicating the club's belief their appeal will be successful has grown even stronger in recent days, having seen the evidence laid out. While City have now been placed in and come out of 2 transfer embargoes in the past week, the club remains under a restriction which prevents them from paying a transfer fee for any player. That rule applies whether making a permanent signing or for a loan signing needing a fee, as many do now, with the punishment handed out because of the failure to pay the outstanding money for the Louis Barry loan agreement. The remaining money, thought to be around £600,000 of the £1 million agreement, was paid to Aston Villa later last week in order to lift the transfer embargo. A debt has also been settled with Manchester City for Finlay Burns' loan move last season, with monies owed for that seeing a second transfer embargo very briefly being placed against the club. So brief it had no time to actually be officially announced. Now sources have told Hull Live that there are no further outstanding payments that have been missed or are owed that won't be paid this month. With the club admittant, there is no reason why they should have another embargo placed against them. City owner Adrian Lajali has come out and made public letter to supporters, which we covered yesterday, that he'll be personally underwrite money owed to a number of suppliers who have not been paid. So it seems like the books at Hull City are okay for this month. Of course, we've heard there, no more fees to go out to any clubs. And I mean, this is sort of that grace period where everything from last season should have been paid and has been paid now. And then obviously fees for this upcoming season aren't due yet. So in some sort of like a little bit of a grace period where Hull City can maybe look and see that over the next couple of weeks go, right, we need to evaluate this money for there and this money for there and all of that sort of financial jargon. But some sort of grace period is going on at the moment, which is good. We're not going to go under any other transfer embargo. It sounds very promisingly. We're not going to go under any more transfer embargoes for the remainder of the month. That's good. That's good news. I don't want to be under another transfer embargo. Of course, you're worried about the fees due to suppliers, local suppliers, national suppliers, and if they're going to take legal action. We talked about this yesterday. Lots of companies, or a few companies that were reportedly being owed six-figure fees, were looking to take legal action. Well, it seems like Adjan, as we talked about yesterday, Adjan is personally going through Adjan Media Group to pay the money to them companies, and so that he's sort of losing money himself, but the club's not losing any more money than they are losing at the moment. So that is good. Everything seems balanced out okay at the moment. We'll talk about that's okay. Further on from that, what happens with this appeal process? Well, the appeal process, they're saying it sounds good. I mean, I haven't seen what their case is. I'm not one of the lawyers involved. I'm not back there with Hull City. I'm sure none of you are back there with Hull City unless you are a secret lawyer for Adjan and the Tigers. So we don't know fully what the extent of Hull City's claim is and what their sort of argument is to get this sort of fee restriction either fully withdrawn or sort of chopped down to a bit more of a manageable size for what has happened. As I said in yesterday's video, I've been saying a one window transfer fee restriction makes sense. A full 3 transfer window fee restriction does not make any sense in the slightest. For the amount that was owed, the fact that we paid it, and the fact that Adrian is saying that it's all a misunderstanding, miscommunication on both accounts, the Finlay Burns and also Louis Barry deal. So hopefully, I mean, we'll probably see in the coming days how successful this appeal process is, but hopefully it's good, because then if it is, yes, we probably won't get any fees being paid this transfer window. As I said, the most likely outcome is if this is successful, that we won't be able to buy anyone this transfer window, which isn't awful, because we can still use free transfer market. We can still go through loans that have no fees attached. Yes, that's a very limited market nowadays because lots of clubs are looking for fees attached to loan deals, but there is going to be some out there, and especially as the transfer window winds on, when we get towards that sort of deadline period, the teams are going to be going, hang on, we want to get these players out. Hull City will be taking them, but no fee. That's all right. We could, as long as we're sending our players out, it's sort of that panic, not panic buy, but sort of panic loaning out so to speak. So certainly that will be one that I reckon will be coming a bit later on, and that seems to be Hull City's game plan, embargo or not, using the loan market and then sort of evaluating the loan market as the transfer window progresses. We've seen it the past couple of seasons where there's been a few deadline day signings that have been loan deals, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for Adjan to do that, and I presume that he would do. Especially at that point, we'll be able to assess where what areas of the squad need the work. So whether by some miracle the striking department is actually doing well, well then maybe we can add some depth into the midfield, or we can maybe add a depth piece up front. So it's very sort of evaluative, the loan market seems to be for Hull City this season, rather than adding players, not necessarily for the sake of adding them, but more adding them as pivotal pieces from the get-go. It'll be more of a see where we are, what can we use, and a bit more of a powerful mindset about it, and sort of doing it in a bit more of an economical sense, although we're not really paying too much for these loan deals. So that's a positive. Of course, it could all get all get wiped away, and we could go out and buy whoever we want this transfer window. I think it's highly unlikely. So where can Hull City go from here? Of course, we've said if it's one window, we know what can happen. Free transfers, there's a few in the line already, and I'm sure that there'll be plenty more once Hull City know the full scale of the appeal process, if it's going to happen, if it's not. Of course, they seem positive at the moment, so I suspect that Adjan and Sergei Yurkevich will be on the phone to various different people, as well as the brain team that are going on behind the scene. We'll be on the phone to various people, okay, we're looking at this deal, and maybe they could be laying out two options. Could go to a club and say, we want to maybe have a look at this player. If we're no longer under the fee restriction, we'll pay you so much for him. If not, maybe look at a loan deal with similar to the Friggin deal, with maybe an option to buy later on, and sort of work out some sort of deal like that. It's going to be a very interesting couple of days, maybe a week, however long this sort of period goes on for, before the appeal process ends and we know the full scale of if it's successful or not. But I think that this is sort of crunch time now for Adjan, the brain team, Sergei, to really go out there, see what they can get in both avenues. It's not a case of, okay, we're going to now plan for the eventuality where the appeal is successful and we are no longer under fee restriction, because it's that you're not guaranteed either or. So it's a real testing time to really see which avenue is going to have the best options. Of course, the fee avenue will probably have the better options, but look at both avenues and then have a case built up on both avenues so that you're prepared for both eventualities, because this appeal process might go on for a bit of time. I think Hull City's first competitive fixture is in about a month's time. And of course, then if someone signs a month's time down the line, well, they're not going to have any pre-season with the Tigers, and that's somewhat pivotal under a new managership and certainly a new player. Of course, this appeal process might last for ages. It's the EFL we're talking about. They could make things last donkey's years. I mean, this appeal process might go on until deadline day for all they care, and then Hull City are in a bit of a dodgy situation. But as things stand, at the moment, they can still sign them free transfers, free loan deals, and sort of plan with that eventuality. And then if it comes to the case where the appeal process is successful and Hull City can buy players, well, then you're at that point in a week's time or a couple of weeks' time at most, hopefully, where you can hopefully buy players. But plan for the now, hope for the positive future, is what I'm saying for Adjan, and how Hull City might then be able to stay up in the Championship, because well, it seems like that they've got the sort of momentum about them. Certainly before this embargo and stuff, we was all saying about, it's a very good transfer window. This Hull City doing business nice and early. Got a manager in that sounds quite good. The Q&A was quite good, and then all sort of broke down last week, didn't it? So everything seems somewhat positive behind the scenes, bar the financial aspect of the things. And if we can sort of break away them two things, and Hull City can grab the few players that they need to strengthen up the areas that they need to, as I said, evaluate which areas need strengthening rather than signing players for the sake of it. to have a guy who's costing you a half a fortune on the bench in wages that's not really going to play. Evaluate where you need to grow in a effective manner, certainly for this transfer window, and maybe in the transfer windows to come, depending on the appeal process. But Hull City, hopefully they stay up. I have a very strong hope in that. Of course, deluded optimism, as I say, always runs on this channel, and we always go with the side of Hull City. I do think that unless I see anything to suggest that Hull City won't stay up, and of course we won't really see this until any competitive fixtures do take place with Sergei Yakirovich as manager, and we know how he's lining up this squad in this adaptable sense that he's saying. We won't really know anything until then, but hopefully Hull City do stay up. I have the faith at the moment that the club will stay up, and hopefully you do too. We don't want to write off a season since minute one like we had to last season. So hopefully Yakirovich has the will and the power, and can get something going out of this squad, and hopefully behind the scenes things continue to go in the right direction, as they seemingly are doing at the moment. But of course, tomorrow could be a different kind of event. So make sure you stay tuned on the Hull City Fan Central YouTube channel by liking and subscribing, as I keep getting everything Hull City transfer news, behind the scenes, financial stuff, embargoes, all the sorts. So I'll see you in the next video. Up the Tigers!